You are now listening to The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Kahlil on the One Podcast Network. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK in the world, it's The Box Out here on the One Podcast Network. My name is Kahlil Thomas. Thank you so much for watching on a Tuesday night. We should have been here Sunday night, but, work, things happen. But we're here tonight. And listen, for the next two shows, we're going to be here tonight, which is Tuesday if you're watching the replay. And then Thursday night, we'll be here on a normal scheduled time and day to talk NCAA tournament. It started actually tonight with our first four games. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we're really going to talk about the main bracket. That starts on Thursday afternoon. Thursday, Friday, I think the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, some of the best basketball, some of the best time in a sports fan's life, watching game after game after game from 12:15 p.m. to close to midnight every single night, Thursday, Friday. So I'm always looking forward to the first round, but we have to talk about the bracket that came out on Sunday. And I really wanted to do a show on Sunday when it came out because I had such issues with some of the things. I'm glad we waited, not by choice, but I'm glad we waited because I was able to kind of calm down, able to simmer down and kind of look at everything from this 10,000-foot view after it was announced. And what I want to do first is talk about the bracket itself. Your four number one seeds, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and Florida. Florida almost played themselves out of a number one seed when they lost to Vanderbilt in the semifinals of this SEC tournament. They still got it, though. Michigan lost to Purdue in the Big Ten championship game on Sunday, right before Selection Sunday. I don't think their seeding was in any doubt, but I do think it was kind of sketchy for a minute. Duke was always going to be a number one seed. It was dependent on, one, if the injury they kind of suffered towards the back end of the season would affect them, and it really didn't in the ACC tournament. And two, you look at Duke, 32-2, they really haven't really faced, and the argument's going to be, it's Duke, they played in ACC. ACC is one of the top conferences in the country. I get it, got it, cool. But the ACC this year wasn't overly great. So Duke being guaranteed a number one seed was kind of weird to begin with. As I welcome in Jason Kahlil from Brooklyn, New York. Jay, what's up, bro?
Nothing much, man. Got the first tournament game going on in the background with
I
Howard.
Wait, who's winning that game right now? I don't have it on.
Howard's up.
All right,
Not by a lot, but up.
All right, good.
Yep.
I wore my Howard pullover yesterday, so I was right. We got to rep Howard.
All right.
So to start, before we go deep into the bracket, what were your thoughts about the top four seeds: Duke, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan?
I thought it was pretty fair. I thought they were the ones we thought coming in. I'm surprised Florida got the one, but I look at their strength of schedule, it made sense. But I thought the four was pretty much, they were locked.
Yeah, I said Florida was kind of in flux after they lost to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michigan losing to Purdue, I think had people question things, but I don't think that was ever in flux. Arizona was always fluctuating between the top seed and two. It was them and Duke, I think, for most of the season, the top seed. I honestly think Purdue beating Michigan on Sunday, that made me start to think, is Purdue a number one seed? Just based
they had a case.
And based on how they beat them, it wasn't just they beat Michigan. They beat Michigan on Sunday. So I was
Took it to them, yep. I was surprised Duke was still the number one overall seed, knowing that they're going to be missing key guys until at least the Sweet 16, if they make it that far.
Yeah, I also think that was partly of a let's get Duke there because Duke fans draw, and that's DC for Sweet 16, and that's an easy sellout for Duke fans. Duke played in Newark last year, and the place was pro-Duke. It was crazy to see that many people from North Carolina in Jersey.
Probably the first time in Newark, wondering where we at. This is not Manhattan.
They made that wrong turn on Raymond Boulevard, and I was like, shouldn't be that way. My other big issue was in the East as well with Duke. UConn gets a 2 seed. St. John's gets a 5 seed. So you had the Big East regular season and tournament winning team, St. John's, who beat UConn in the tournament final.
Mm-hmm.
Only get 5, but UConn gets a 2 seed in the East to almost keep them away from Duke if they get that far. What were your thoughts on St. John's getting shafted there?
I thought it was a terrible, terrible call by the committee, and their excuse was that the non-conference strength of schedule from UConn was significantly that much better. But if UConn played them head-to-head a few times and lost a few times convincingly, that shouldn't have mattered. But that's the case that, I feel bad for the Johnnies because they're going out there. No one's really they're not going to have their fans out there. And if somehow they survive and make it to the second, then they will see Duke very early in the tournament. I don't like that matchup at all. I thought the Johnnies got shafted. But hey, let's protect UConn, which is the bigger brand. And I think this is also the committee saying, hey, we know St. John's won the regular season and the tournament, but we still favor UConn as of them being an overall better draw and a better matchup for other teams in the tournament.
So it's funny. I saw UConn twice in December. Actually, was it twice in December? I want to make sure. Yeah, November 28th was at the Garden, and then again in the Garden against Florida. So he played Illinois at the Garden. They beat Illinois. It didn't look great. They kind of turned on at the end. And then when it came to, they played Florida, and they beat Florida by 4. And that was a Florida team that I was with my uncle-in-law, who was big Florida Gator fan, huge booster. Mm-hmm. He was shitting on Florida. So to see Florida as the number 1 seed after seeing them in the Garden in December is kind of weird to me. But UConn, they're so guard heavy that if the guards aren't playing well, because they didn't have Klingen, and Klingen left and went to Portland, no one's heard his name since. They don't have a dominant big man like they've had in the past. And I think that might be their downfall. I think with St. John's is physical to begin with. So I think St. John's is a tad undersized, but they're still physical. UConn doesn't do well against physical teams. So I think if UConn gets past Furman, they get UCF or UCLA, who are both really physical teams. So I have UConn going to Sweet 16, but I don't see them going any further than that.
So you don't think you think Michigan State or Louisville could easily take them out?
Yes.
Okay, I can see that.
Yes.
I can definitely see a case for Michigan State.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I actually don't have Louisville advancing to the second round.
Really?
I have South Florida getting to the round of 32.
So this is your first bracket buster alert right here. You got that's the first upset you got.
It's the first one I got. Actually, in the East bracket, let's say in the East. In the East, I have Duke taking on TCU in the second round.
I do as well. Okay.
Yeah. St. John's taking on Kansas.
Yep.
South Florida, Michigan State.
Okay.
UCF, UConn.
Okay. So you think UCLA's out of here too? Okay.
UCLA, I know
coming in hot in the East.
23-11. I know. If I hear Mick Cronin complain one more time about UCLA playing in the Big Ten and blaming travel for the terrible shit he play, I'm gonna lose my shit. I have not seen enough from UCLA, and once again, I think the schedule is kind of favorable to them in conference, so I think they were okay to get away with it. But I don't see them. And plus, UCF. And tell me if I'm wrong. Is UCF on ESPN a lot?
I feel like they are.
I feel like I've seen a lot of UCF.
I feel like they took Gonzaga's place.
I know. I'm like, UCF played again. They're like, oh, they're playing Charlotte. I'll watch this game and watch Charlotte get blown out. Well, fuck it. So that's your East. So on the East, obviously based on the face you made, you have UCLA beating UCF.
I do. And I don't know if it's because of the luck of the draw, but in my Elite Eight, I have Duke and UConn playing for a trip to the Final Four. And I just think it's because of the luck of the draw that UConn got.
Interesting. All right. Let's say the East. Let's move on. What's your... Okay, so after the round 32,
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have going to DC for Sweet 16 in the East?
Let's see. We got Duke.
Okay.
We got St. John.
Okay.
We got I got Michigan State. I'm sorry, I got UConn. I got UConn over Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
And who am I missing? I got everybody.
Yeah. So
And I got
Mhm.
Michigan State and UConn. So yeah, there you go.
And then who do you have going on to the Elite Eight?
Then I got UConn and Duke.
I have St. John's, Michigan State.
So you think St. John's is going to take out Duke?
I think
I will say this: if Duke is not fully, if those guys don't come back in time for St. John's front line do present a challenging presence for Duke, especially what I saw from Virginia. Virginia had them dead to rights, and they just couldn't execute down the stretch. And I think St. John's will be better positioned to execute down the stretch.
You know what's funny? I have St. John's going to the Final Four.
No way.
I do. So I made this mistake last year, and I think I'm going to the Final Four too last year, and I was kind of going back.
I mean, if they could beat Duke, they could. That's a clear path to the Final Four.
You know, I'm kind of glad we didn't do the show Sunday, because obviously it would have been the first half hour of the post selection Sunday would have been crazy. I thought about St. John's, and I told myself I'm not going to make the same mistake twice with St. John's.
Okay.
But there's something about this year's St. John's team as opposed to last year's St. John's team that lost to Arkansas. Zuby just seems with it. Like Zuby's an All-American, and he earned that All-American spot. The 100%. Physicality, their shooting, it leaves a lot to be desired still. Like if they go on a drought, St. John's can just stink up the goddamn arena.
That is very true.
But the game against UConn, perfect example. I think they missed their last 24 shots of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're off, they're off. It is gone. But I just have this really good feeling about them this year, where I'm going to take that plunge again and put them in the Final Four.
Okay.
I feel like a dumbass doing it again. I'm going to complain about this shit in like a week.
I like where you're going already. So you're already out the gate. They will not be chalk. It will not be 4 number ones in the Final Four. Okay,
nope, there will not. There will be a 5 seed in the East, for me at least. In the South, and I'll go in order: Florida, Clemson, Vanderbilt, Troy.
Hey, you got Troy for Nebraska? Okay.
I got Troy, Nebraska, North Carolina. I got Penn.
I think that's gonna be a very competitive game against VCU.
Yeah, well, VCU just going back to when Shaka Smart coach. VCU just, their defense is crazy. I got Penn beating Illinois.
Well, you're really coming in heavy with the upsets. Okay.
St. Mary's, and then Houston. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm Ivy League basketball connoisseur, but I watched Penn Yale on Sunday.
Okay.
TJ Power had like 42 points. If TJ Power plays like that, I think I've seen like clips of him throughout the season, and I might have like watched Penn on like a random Friday night. Penn, they have Fran McCaffrey, who coached at Iowa. Iowa fired him. He went to Penn.
Okay.
I've seen Illinois live this year. Illinois is a lot like St. John's about their shooting. They're a very 3-heavy team. They have size, but their big men step out a lot.
Yep.
If they're not hitting, they're not hitting. Right, so Stojakovic's son's on that team, and Stojakovic's son, great shooter, but like his father, like Peja, if he ain't hitting, it's gone. I think Penn can take advantage of that, especially if they slow the game down. So I got Penn coming out into round of 32. Who do you got in that round?
Let's see what I got. I got Florida, obviously. I got Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I got Illinois, because I'm not a fan of. Actually, sorry. I got Illinois and Houston. I think Houston is my Final Four team out of the South. But yeah. So I think I got Houston coming out the South.
I got Houston coming out too. I got Houston coming out.
Yeah, we in my bracket, Florida, huh?
No, not at all. None at all. I got Houston, UNC, Vanderbilt, Florida to rematch. Vanderbilt's going to beat Florida again. They get Houston in the Elite Eight. Houston goes to Final Four.
Oh, you got Vanderbilt beating Florida. I got Florida beating Vanderbilt. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? You know this as when you report on games and teams, you see them and you kind of see something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Ty Graham is not. I don't like him. Coach, I just don't like him. Todd Golden, Ty Graham, one of those two.
You don't think he'll have him motivated for the tournament? Okay.
I think he got away with winning the title last year because he had a crazy team. My man Walter went off, and he lucked out. Besides that, no, I don't think he's a good coach. My uncle-in-law says the same shit, even though he's a huge fan. He says, nope, not a fan. So I'm gonna roll with Uncle Neil on this one and go, Neil, you're right. He's not good, and I want to run with that.
Fair, that's fair.
All right, let's go Midwest. Midwest, not a lot of mostly chalk here. Michigan,
yeah.
St. Louis over Georgia. Texas Tech.
I mean, we need upsets. I get it.
We do. Texas Tech, Alabama.
You don't think Hofstra can stand a chance? You don't think?
I think Speedy Claxton keep him close for a few minutes and call it a day, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Tennessee,
Miami of Ohio, round of 32, baby. Let's get it.
I mean, this is a terrible draw for Tennessee, by the way. Terrible.
It really is. Virginia, Kentucky, and then Iowa State. So the only upset I really have is Miami of Ohio. St. Louis is 8-9. So
yeah, so that's not really
an upset. But how does that sound to you in the Midwest?
All right. I got Michigan, Georgia, Texas Tech, Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky, Iowa State. I like Michigan coming out. I think this is pretty much they got the easier pass out of all the number one seeds, in my opinion. But don't sleep on from what I saw from Virginia. I think they can make a real legit run in that region.
I was waiting for this. What's up, Bruce? Go Gators. We will repeat.
No,
you're not.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You don't have Walter Clayton on the court this year. I don't think that's happening. You're good. I'm not sure my man from Princeton is gonna bring the heat. Your point guard. Although they got some really good white guys on Florida, I'll give them that. They got some. They got some stretch fives in that team. I'm like, good.
Out of all the number one seeds, who is in the most likely to not make it out the first two rounds? It would have to be Florida, right?
Ooh. See,
I guess it would be Duke because they would play St. John's.
Yeah, well, we're getting to the West. Back to the Midwest real quick. Michigan coming out. You got Michigan going to the Final Four. Right?
I got Michigan going to the Final Four.
I got them too. All right, the West. I think Arizona's the more likely one seed to not make it out. Because I have Arizona, Villanova. I got High Point beating Wisconsin. Arkansas.
I got Arkansas. Okay.
BYU. Gonzaga. Miami, Florida, and then Purdue.
So you think Purdue's coming out of that region?
I think Purdue's coming out of that region. I think Arizona loses to Villanova in the round of 32.
Ooh. Because I got Villanova going out in the second round. But okay, I can see.
It's something about I think me watching Kevin Willett for so long with Seton Hall, I think a game like this and something that Shaheen hasn't kind of figured out with Seton Hall, Kevin Willett can get his teams up for a big game. Like, he coached Maryland, they were all right, but whenever they played like a Clemson, whenever they played a Duke, whenever he played at North Carolina, he got them ready. I think in a game against Arizona, number one seed, he'll get Villanova prepared and get them ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be the only reason. Plus, Nova plays a little bully ball. Arizona thinks they're tough because, they played a Big 12 and they faced Houston once and thinks they're, the toughest team in the world. So I think this is where Arizona gets knocked out here.
See, you made me change my pick a little bit because I was going to go with Arizona coming out the region. But I'm now thinking about it. They weren't really battle tested this season compared to Michigan played Duke and then Michigan had to play Purdue. And I think Purdue's coming in here where, house money, and they could really run rough shots in this region. So I'm going Purdue coming out.
Yeah, I think the Big 12, the idea that they're the best conference in America, I don't see it. I don't understand it. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where the Big 12.
They're a 2-team conference.
I don't understand where that came from. Where we have, here's the bracket right here. I meant to bring this up earlier and I completely forgot to bring it up. I still say you have the Big 10
for sure.
I think
I won't say the AC. I won't. Well,
I can't say
no. I won't say. Can't say the ACC yet.
I say Big 10. I say the SEC. I think the SEC is pretty deep. They got 10 bids.
SEC,
yeah, they got 10 bids.
SEC, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think the Big East, even though they're very top heavy, I think after Villanova, UConn, and St. John's, there's a huge drop off.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So, but then they just beat each other up. So you don't really know. So I think the toughest conference is the Big East because besides those three heavy teams, you got dogs.
Yeah.
You got dogs up and down. ACC is a fourth, and you talk about Power Four conferences. I think they're below all those other three.
Yep.
And I would make an argument that the West Coast Conference might be on the par of ACC when you got Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Santa Clara, San Francisco, Pacific. Like the way the ACC played this year, I would put the West Coast Conference up there with them.
But see, this also goes back to the argument earlier about St. John's and UConn. You know, UConn didn't win the regular season or the tournament, yet they're still a 2 seed compared to St. John a 5. That's how much trust out of conference they believe that the Big East top heavy teams are compared to everyone else.
Well, it's funny to me in that region too, right here against BYU, you would have the winner of the NC State Texas game.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote an article last week for OnNJ.com. So on NJ. Kind of making the case for Seton Hall as to why they should make the tournament. I think the St. John's game was kind of their make or break. If they didn't beat St. John's in the semis of the Big East, they weren't going to make it. They didn't, obviously didn't make it. And they actually chose not to go anywhere. So Seton Hall's home. NC State got in. Now they're in the play-in, but it's funny, they're in the play-in, but then Seton Hall beat them in Maui early in the season. So shouldn't head-to-head matter more to the selection committee? Because I feel like there's all these metrics in the eye test, and Ken Palm and strength of schedule and all this, but I think you got to look at the head-to-head. Like if you have NC State and Seton Hall in that 67 to 74 spot, head-to-head should make a difference, don't you think?
It should make a difference, but also it depends when you play them too.
It was a neutral site.
Neutral site should, yeah.
So
it should take a factor in, but I don't know why they sometimes they hold it against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, the whole Seton Hall season was weird anyway, so I'm not gonna sit here and make the case for them again because I wrote the article and then after I submitted the article and put it up, I looked again. I was like, that resume ain't that great. I think I made an argument for no reason, just to write some shit, and that's what happened. So we're in the West region. My Sweet 16 in the West is Villanova, Arkansas, Gonzaga, Purdue. Does that sound right
about
to
the
you?
same? That sounds about right to me.
And then I have Villanova, Purdue in the Elite Eight, with Purdue advancing to the Final Four.
I can't believe you got Villanova all the way to the Elite Eight, but okay.
I don't know.
I have Purdue coming out as well.
You know, because I watched Villanova twice against Seton Hall, and I like I said, I hated the fact that Kevin Willard left Seton Hall and went to Maryland, and he went to Villanova. But talking to him this year at Big East Media Day, he was very confident in his team. And it's funny because Kyle Neptune, their old coach, I feel like he never got his feet underneath them after coming in for Jay Wright. And I feel like that's just a common, you replace a legend, the first guy after the legend is going to mess up. Gerard Mayo, New England, with Bill Belichick, he was out. Who was the coach in North Carolina after Dean Smith left? It was Bill Guthridge. Bill Guthridge was the coach after Dean Smith, who was his assistant for years, and he flamed out. Actually, a couple of guys flamed out in North Carolina. It was him. Matt Doherty flamed out.
Oh man.
So it's weird because I feel like Neptune never got that full support. I think Willard came in. We got to spend more money. We need more resources. They're like, okay, here. What they didn't give to Kyle Neptune, which kind of sucks. If the second guy always gets the worm, and the first guy's like, oh, I'm out. See ya. So Final Four, I have St. John's versus Houston, Purdue versus Michigan.
I got Duke versus Houston, and I got Purdue versus Michigan. I got 1-2 versus 2-1. So we definitely don't got chalk.
I know. I mean, I got 5-2 and a 2 and a 1. My God, why do I do this to myself every year? And then I have Houston beating St. John's, Purdue beating Michigan again. Championship game, I have Houston, Purdue, and I have Houston winning the title. Finally, Calvin Sampson getting that ring.
I have Michigan win the title.
Ooh, we are way off. My God.
But I will say I do like your sneaky St. John pick because I feel like if you take out Duke early, you have a better chance. I feel like as long as they get their guys back, the longer the tournament goes, they're going to be top. They're going to be damn near unstoppable to beat.
So ESPN is a really cool thing where Joe Lunardi went through all the tournament teams and talked about them a little bit. And I want to do that for a couple teams right now. And I want to start with Long Island. First of all, and you're a Brooklyn resident, when the hell did they change their branding? Because they were
I'm glad you brought that up because when I want to say they changed it 3 years ago because I first noticed the change last year in college football when I was like, Long Island has a second team, and then I realized they changed their whole branding and the colors. Gentrification of the Nets. This is also why I texted you last night. It started with the Nets and it's spread down up Flatbush to Long Island. But I digress. Yeah, I hate the branding and I hate the color. Maybe that's why they changed it because the Nets are black and white.
But wouldn't that be cool for your local pro team and your local college team to have kind of black and white, the same color scheme?
Which is also weird because Long Island's been here before the Nets. But I digress.
Well, it's funny because for a summer, I went to classes at LIU Brooklyn, which was crazy. I was commuting from Newark, New Jersey to Brooklyn every day. And I remember walking down and I saw they used to play in the Paramount Theater.
Right.
And I remember seeing it on TV because mom at my school, we were in the same conference. I did a game there. I'm like, oh, they play in the theater. And then they built the Wellness Center, which I went to for the TBT tournament years ago for like a regional game. It was weird. And then it was still the Blackbirds. I remember the Blackbirds, and Monmouth played them, NEC, blah, blah, blah. They sucked, and then all of a sudden I see a Shark. I'm like, huh? And then I guess they merged LIU Brooklyn with the LIU
Long Island
CW Post, whatever, and merged everything up and made it all one. Shout out to Rod Strickland for getting to the tournament.
Shout out to Rod Strickland, Kyrie's godfather,
New York point guard. But I hate the branding.
I hate it.
Hawaii, which is a team that I never see ever because they play at 2 a.m. Very happy they got in, especially what's going on in that island rebuilding from the fires and stuff like that. That was really cool. I want to talk about BYU for a second. What are your thoughts on AJ DeBonza?
Ben Simmons 2.0?
Damn. Holy shit. Okay.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna be. I mean, he's acting like Ben Simmons. I hope he has a good showing in the tournament because I think his number 1 overall selection in the NBA draft is in jeopardy because of his Ben Simmons tendencies. I should say that. I'll be nice.
I was not expecting that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not expecting Ben Simmons 2.0. That threw me the hell off.
It doesn't remind you a little bit of Ben Simmons, LSU.
But you know who reminds you of Ben Simmons? And I'm glad we're there now. Kansas, Baron Peterson. He's the one because he's the one taking plays off and sitting out for 15 minutes and not playing second halves of games for load management. That's what Bill Self said. I think Peterson from Kansas feels a lot more like I almost said Bill Simmons, like Ben Simmons than DeBonza. DeBonza can play.
He could definitely play.
And he wants to play. Peterson was kind of taking care of his body and not wanting to kind of run himself into the ground. And I think Bill Self got pissed at that and said, you need to get on the court and play some ball. That's what I'm worried about.
I made the case for both of them, but we got plenty of time to talk about the draft. But I think in the tournament, who do you think will have a better showing?
BYU faces the winner. See, BYU goes to the round of 32 anyway. I think if AJ shows out against Gonzaga and BYU can get to the Sweet 16, Peterson's no longer the number one overall pick. I think he becomes number one. I think it's kind of a competition between the both of them. I think AJ. Kansas is Kansas. Kansas is going to get to the second round and flame out like they always do, like they've been doing for years. So, and if Peterson bows out with 19 minutes, then that's going to be the problem right there.
I can see that.
We talked about Hofstra, another, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut school.
Shout out to the New York, New Jersey. Was it 5 teams in the tri-state area? That's in
5 teams. We talked about Penn. Troy, I did not watch them. I saw highlights of Troy because I was curious because I think Clark Kellogg hyped up Troy on Sunday. So I'm like, let me go back and watch some Troy stuff. They can shoot the hell out of the ball. It's scary how good they shoot. That's why I have them winning. I think against Nebraska, they play a lot of zone. And I think if you play against a zone team and you can shoot, you win by 10. I think this is not going to be a close game. I think Troy wins this game by 10 or more against Nebraska.
Ooh.
No,
I think it's gonna be a little closer to that, but I definitely see I definitely see problems for Nebraska to try to compete. I definitely see that.
I'm putting myself out there seriously. The other thing, there was something. Oh, South Florida. They just lost their coach to Syracuse. So I'm very curious to see how this all works out. And he seemed like a good coach. I know he was made coach after the name's eluding me. Their old coach passed away tragically, like out of nowhere. So he got the job right after the coach passed away. He was assistant, got the job, doing really well. Brian Hodgson as a coach. He's going to coach the team. It's interesting to see this because we saw it in the college football playoff when he had the James Madison coach stay around. Lane Kiffin tried to stay around, but Ole Miss took one's ass.
He tried really hard.
Do you think this could affect the team knowing that, coach is out? Like, does this affect the play? Does it affect, do they feel spite? Like, what do you think about this?
I definitely feel like they're going to feel spite, but it's only going to galvanize the team to come, to play for themselves. So this is probably a blessing in disguise, kind of like Ole Miss a little bit, smoke and mirrors. I think they'll be fine.
Oh, actually, I take that back. He turned down the Syracuse job.
Oh, well, there you go.
Then that's a whole goddamn that's a bullshit ass point then, huh?
It's only going to motivate them better. Be like, we got our coach back. Let's go to war.
All right, cool.
I wonder why. So since we kind of pivot to Syracuse real quick, is Syracuse a bad job now and a very winnable, competitive ACC going forward?
I'm looking. Oh, okay. According to Jeff Goodman, good guy, turned down Syracuse job. It's likely that he will decide between staying with South Florida or going to Providence, who just fired Kim English.
Big East job is always a little bit more, it's a better spotlight.
Well, they're also saying now that, Sienna. I saw a Sierra video. I'm like, Sierra still makes music? So Sienna's coach, they played Duke in the first round, Jerry McNamara, former Syracuse player. He might be a name to look out for because he was part of the program. He's one of Boeheim's guys. He coaches up in that New York State area. It would make sense, get a Syracuse guy and come back. You made the tournament, so you already have the resume. Come back home. I'm not sure if that really does that ever really work, except like Roy Williams in North Carolina.
It really rarely ever works. But I feel like Syracuse is teetering off of being a non-relevant basketball program, and that's something I never thought I'd be able to say. Should have stayed in the Big East, but that's a whole other story.
Well, don't give me that record for the Big East 30 for 30 still gets me when it's on. It's how they just tore it hard out. Well, because apparently in the Boeheim was on the ACC network for their tournament coverage, and he kind of went off. Mm-hmm. He said the best players didn't show up to play for Autry. Not talking about Anthony, but he's talking about the other players. Now you have a coach coming in. Anthony may not stay there, and I'm pretty sure he's going to transfer.
Really?
I have a feeling. I'm not saying it's a source. I don't have a source. I'm not saying this. I just have a feeling.
If he transfers, I see St. John's. I see a Big East team. I see a Big East team.
I can see St. John's. I can see Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a Nova. But I feel like
you're in agreement. You think it'll be a Big East?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to damn BYU. He's going to stay at the East Coast. Mm-hmm. But Boeheim said something interesting too, how they weren't really ready for the NIL era. So a lot of schools were kind of gearing up for it, and then once the court ruled, schools were like, okay, go. Syracuse wasn't prepared, and they have never caught up to what they've been doing. So that put him in a spot where he couldn't really compete because the money wasn't there, the donors wasn't there. Schools were spending $9, $10, $11 million on players. Syracuse is doing like, $4 or $5 million. So they kind of fell apart, and this is what happened. Autry loses his job. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if McNamara gets the job. He's only been coaching Siena for a couple of years. So I don't know if you want more experience from someone or if you want, hey, he's got 2 years, made the tournament with a team in the MAC, come back home to Syracuse.
Honestly, they just need the identity. They need to reestablish who they are. So I would roll the dice with them.
I mean, once Autry stopped running the 2-3 matchup zone, I knew it was going to be a problem.
That was a staple. That was a Syracuse staple.
When he went man to man, I was like, that's not a good look. That's not going to go well for anyone. So that's our men's bracket. Obviously, we have two. We have the same title winner in Houston. No, sorry, you have Michigan.
I have Michigan.
I got to write that down. So Michigan. Jason.
I do have Michigan versus Houston. I do think Houston beats Duke.
So I got that down. And just obviously for everyone's information, the last 4 teams in: NC State, Texas, SMU, and Miami of Ohio. Not in that order. The last 4 out: Oklahoma, Auburn, San Diego State, Indiana. Want to talk about Auburn for a second? The Nepo baby coach did not make the tournament, even though his father literally campaigned for Auburn to make the tournament. He is still a paid employee of the Auburn University. With his son, who he gave the job to. He didn't earn it, just gave it to him. 17 and 16. Yeah, this should be in the tournament. So I'm glad he had the look on his face when they weren't called was priceless. And the awkwardness on the set when they were talking about, well, they didn't win enough games. They didn't win enough games. They went and tried the best. Bruce Pearl can go. He can stick it. Sorry.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
I've been holding that shit in. So on Thursday, our normal show, we will have the women's bracket. And I actually did a vote for the women's All-American team. I'm a United States Basketball Writers Association writer, so I had a vote, so I did mine. Nice. So that's going to be on Thursday before their tournament officially starts on Friday. Their first 4 starts tomorrow, but just like the men, who cares about the first 4? Who care about the actual bracket?
What's the chances by the time we're on the air Thursday that our brackets has not been popped? Our bubbles haven't been popped.
Oh, I'm banking on it. I'm banking on my bracket being completely busted and me screwing up. I'm probably gonna come on the air and start cursing. My dad will probably hate me, but it's gonna happen. Right now, live, we have Howard up 81-72 over UMBC. If you remember UMBC, they were the first 16 seeds to win a game a couple years ago, so they're back in the tournament. The tournament, first 4, whatever you want to call it. And then 9:15 tonight, approximately, Texas NC State will play for the right to face AJ DeBonza and BYU on Thursday. Real quick before we go, I know there's only going to be NCAA talk, but I want to talk about this. We finally getting it. Expansion's happening.
It's happening.
They're going to start voting on it. Actually, wait, I forgot a topic. So, in the bracket, sorry, I saw his name on my computer. I was like, wait, Alabama. Mm-hmm. They're in this. They're 4 seed against Hofstra. You mentioned Hofstra. The only reason I didn't pick them, Hofstra, to beat Alabama was I'm like, yeah, Alabama's better. But Aiden Holloway found with 2.1 pounds of weed, second leading scorer of Alabama. He's been kicked off the team. So, does this change your mind a little bit?
I mean, it definitely changed my mind about getting high. But I definitely think it changes a little bit. But I think Alabama's still deep enough that they'll beat Hofstra. Not deep enough to make a real serious tournament run, but deep enough to beat Hofstra. But damn it, how do you get caught right before the tournament?
A fucking kilo.
Like, what are we doing on campus?
Like, what?
Matter of fact, what is Alabama's NIL money in basketball? That to me seems to be more problem. Everything's in football. Everything's tied up in football. So the poor basketball players got to go out here and sell some little weed on the side. You
are selling a key. That's some blow shit. Like, you got a kilo stash. Like, that is Pineapple Express type shit you got going in your dorm room right there.
And I want to know who in Hofstra found out in the snips. That's what I want to know.
That's the problem. It's always one person. He probably got some shit. He probably got some real shit weed. He don't give him the good shit. He's like, you look at this bullshit weed. You know, Aiden got weed in his room, and then they came down on him. So sorry,
but it's funny because I'm pretty sure Alabama's school athletics is definitely making sure we single it to just him. It's not expanding to any other program, any other team.
The gymnasts had nothing to do with it. Still the gymnasts. So we have expansion to NBA. We're finally gonna get it. They're gonna vote on it. It's not official yet. It's just kind of got to jump through some hoops. They all do. But Seattle, Las Vegas, those are the 2 likely destinations for 2 expansion teams. We're going to get the Seattle Sonics back. And what I didn't know, and I had to read up on this real quick. And there was a kind of a frequently asked question section about these 2 moves and expansion. Mm-hmm. Would Seattle be the Supersonics? The answer is yes. The deal between the Thunder ownership and the city of Seattle resolving a lawsuit over the team's arena lease and allowing its move to Oklahoma City stipulated that the name Supersonics and all associated logos, colors, trademark will be transferred to the owner of a new NBA team approved to play at a renovated arena, which is now Climate Pledge, at no cost. So as soon as you say Seattle, you got a team, Sonics come right back. So right now, I think OKC is merging Seattle's history with theirs. But once that move happens,
think so. Are they?
They are.
I think they're okay.
Yeah. So once this gets approved and the Sonics are, Seattle's in,
they put that banner back up in the 70s. Okay.
Yep. Get that Lenny Wilkins banner back up there. Get all that stuff up there. So, how do you feel about Seattle and Vegas?
I feel it's right. It's long overdue for Seattle. Vegas, it makes sense because damn it, the Oakland A's are there now. So now Vegas is legit. We'll have a franchise in each major professional sports, which I think is crazy considering no one gambles anymore. So I mean, out there, no one gambles out there.
No one gambles there. No.
So it's good to see that translation. But I do think I think what's going to be more of the story is that a team out west has to come east. Who wants that dubious honor? I think if one of the Texas teams was to go east, damn it, they'd be like the Yankees. They'll just want to dominate. Imagine one be out east. My goodness, what are we going to do?
Well, the 3 teams, I'm glad you said that. That's the next point. The 3 teams that are probably going to be discussed are the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies, and the New Orleans Pelicans.
I mean, that's just great. New Orleans and Washington just beat up, but that's like what 6 wins right there for everybody in the East. Why not?
The Knicks.
I think Memphis will go hard to go out east. They'll go fight.
We got a southeast road trip. We go to Washington. We go to New Orleans.
Woo! Let's go. It's like the AFC East all over again. You're guaranteed at least 6 wins between the Jets and Dolphins.
I know.
Shout out the Dolphins who are really tanking right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, Waddle. Who did Waddle get traded to today?
he got traded to Denver for their 30th pick. So they got a first rounder for him.
They give a late first rounder for Jalen Waddle.
Hey, listen.
They're really blowing this shit up. So Vegas gets it. Well, I wanted to do before we go tonight, I want to talk about past expansion drafts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
the last
expansion draft wasn't Oakley part of the Raptors draft?
Oh no, no,
I don't know.
We'll get there. That wasn't the last one. That wasn't the last one.
I know, the last one was the Bobcats.
The Bobcats. So I got the list of names that was selected by the Charlotte Bobcats, owned by one Bob Johnson, founder of BET. Here are the names.
RIP, man.
Here are the names of the players that were selected by the Charlotte Bobcats in the 2004 NBA expansion draft. Lonnie Baxter, J.R. Bremer, Primoz Brezic, Maurice Carter, Pedrick Drobniak,
Stojakovic,
Desmond Ferguson, Iowa State legend Marcus Fizer, Gonzaga legend Richie Fromm, Brandon Hunter, Jason Capono, Jaja Petrulia, Sasha Pavlovich, Jamal Sampson, Tamar Slay, Theron Smith, Jeff Trepanier, Gerald Wallace, Charlotte Bobcat star.
Yes.
Jahidi White, Lauren Woods. That is who the Bobcats picked up off rosters from the NBA. This is like the worst. I've read this list like I don't remember half these guys.
What I remember, Charlotte did not get the number one pick in the next draft. That I remember.
They did not. Listen, Gerald Wallace ate in Charlotte. He was eating good down there. He got the ball. He shot like 35 times a game. He was doing everything down in Charlotte. So good looks on Gerald Wallace. However, the last one before that was 95, Toronto and Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you Toronto's draft list and then Vancouver. So start Toronto.
Okay.
BJ Armstrong. Tony Massenberg. Andres Gilbert. Keith Jennings. Dontario Winfield. Doug Smith. I forgot he was still playing. Jerome Kersey from the Trailblazers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Zon Tabak. Willie Anderson, flipper. Villanova great. Ed Pinkney. AC Earl. BJ Tyler. Here's the name. John Sally. And Oliver Miller. That was your Toronto 1995 Toronto.
That was before he was fat or before after he got fat, Oliver Miller.
That was after he got fat.
Okay.
Phoenix. I think those couple years Phoenix were good. He was skinny. He was skinny Jace. Skinny Jace. And he blew up. He blew up huge.
He looked like Eddie Curry over there. He looked like Eddie Curry.
Bruce, a bunch of scrubs. Toronto had a lot of plumbers. Like they really did.
Well, that's a part of an expansion draft. You can protect.
I know.
You can protect eight players.
8 players.
And so, now we're doing 2 again. So, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, no.
Does Mikal Bridges get protected in 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah. 4 years.
If we're doing this in 3 years, does he get protected? I don't know.
Does Cat get protected?
If we didn't have a WNBA possible lockout, we could be discussing who gets protected on the Liberty, but that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Can we unprotect Cat right now? Just ahead of time?
We need Cat. Cat is our scapegoat for when we do not beat Boston and all hell breaks loose in the second round. He's our scapegoat to get Giannis.
I guess. Vancouver's list. Greg Anthony. The Knicks let Greg Anthony be unprotected. He went to Vancouver. Rodney Dent. Antonio Harvey, Reggie Slater, Trevor Ruffin, Derek Phelps, Larry Stewart, Kenny Gadsden, Byron Scott, Gerald Wilkins, way past his prime here. The Nets let Benoit Benjamin go 0-0. I remember him.
I remember him.
A lot of $10 net games. Watch Benoit Benjamin miss dunks at the Meadowlands. Doug Edwards and Blue Edwards for Vancouver. I say this to ask you. I'm assuming the expansion draft in a couple years is going to be awesome because there's a lot more depth.
A lot of talent.
Teams
a lot more depth.
Because was sad.
But it's going to be the bottom of the depth that gets protected. That doesn't get protected. So we'll see.
Bronny James going to be unprotected.
Ooh, is Bronny going to be up for the expansion draft? 1,000%.
Oh hell yeah! With that roster, Vancouver kicked the team. I think the combination of this roster and Big Country Reeves joining the team, I think, was the downfall of that team. Because I don't know how Big Country became this living legend, but he was awful too.
Because he looked like a damn Vancouver Grizzly. That's why.
He belonged up there.
Him
and Brock Lesnar just own a farm together and just sell elk. That's all they do up there. Just do that shit. Real quick, and I mentioned Brock Lesnar, not a long conversation. Over Brock.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I like that. I did not watch the AEW pay-per-view because it was not my pay-per-view to buy. I'm down to like 2 a year now because I can't afford them.
At what point is AEW pay-per-views going to turn to like UFC where it's on Paramount? I don't got to pay the money anymore. I just watch it there. I think AEW has to get used. They have to get to that program because everyone else is. I
think they eventually want to do that on HBO Max, but now with the Paramount Warner Brothers,
which would make sense because I don't think from what I'm hearing, WWE is still trying to sell their NXT tape library to somebody. I think it'd be better for Paramount to holler at AEW, build that up the same way they got UFC.
So wouldn't it be funny that the next NXT PLE is just a YouTube exclusive show?
It is, isn't it? It
is. I think did they announce that officially?
Yeah, Stand and Deliver is only going to be on YouTube, kind of like their AAA coverage.
That's
the AAA coverage. Yeah,
that is sad.
I mean, hey, what they did to Peacock was terrible. That was bad.
I think GCW has more coverage than them now.
And now they begged ESPN, please, no more letter grades on our events.
I saw that. I was like, that's some sucker shit right there.
And you don't do the media scrub because you don't want to hear the scrutiny anymore. It's a sinking ship. There's only one man that can save it, and they won't bring him back.
No chance. Oh shit. Well, here's a rumor that I heard on Twitter. Let me take this NBA expansion down to about wrestling. So they did obviously I don't watch Raw because it's too many steps to get on Netflix now. They did an interview with Randy Orton. He was on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know who he was on the phone with. I'm assuming Bob Orton or some shit. And he said at the end, there's more than just one royal family.
Mm-hmm.
And someone online was like, please don't tell me Shane's coming back. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think about that.
I did not think about it either.
How'd you feel about that? Shane being like with Randy Orton, like turning him back into that killer.
I'm here for it.
Really?
I'm here for I just never, like I said last time, I just never thought in a million years Triple H booking would be so bad, considering how great the black and gold era of NXT was.
But you know what it was? And I feel like it's like this in any job. Like you get a new boss, it's this really goodwill, everyone's excited, everyone's happy, but that wears off after a while. Triple H got a year and a half, 2 years of like, oh, this is great, better than Vince. We love this. But then people start realizing, like, wait, is he really that good? The black and gold, he had bullets to go through. Like you had, the Garganos, the Ciampas, you had the Adam Coles, you had the Undisputed Era, you had the early Charlottes, you had the Baileys, you had the Beckys, you had so much, and then you were mixing up the main guys who wasn't getting used with the NXT guys, and eventually NXT guys, and Ricochet came in, and then Andrade came in. He was just cooking, but it was not so much his storylines, it was the guys he had. On the main roster, you don't really have those guys because those main spots are taken by Roman, Punk, Brock when he pops up. And then you try to integrate new people, but they don't really work because you're doing it all at the same time. Like with SmackDown, you literally had Trick, Jordan Grace, Oba popped up, and someone else come out the same night. It's 4 new people at the same time. You're not building a story. He's like, here's new people because SmackDown's 3 hours and we need time to fill. I think he screwed that up right there, and I think that was the downfall.
Bring back Vince, bring back Shane, bring in Shane. So you're saying Triple H is essentially James Harden?
Yes, exactly. It's James Harden. That's the perfect example. And on that note, we're going to stop right there. Best point of the night by Jason Courtney. Jay, as always, great show, bro.
Likewise.
So we'll be back on Thursday to do our women's tournament bracket predictions. I looked at the women's bracket. I see some upsets there too. I'm not going to lie. I saw a couple games of like, ooh, that 2 seat might get knocked out. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. Also, any other news that comes up, I know NBA is kind of slow. We're hitting the dog days of the season.
Yeah.
As we close to the playoffs. So if something pops up, obviously we'll talk about it on Thursday night, just like the expansion conversation tonight. So we'll see you next Thursday. This Thursday, I think Bruce is back tomorrow on armchairing, I believe. So if he says something in the chat, we'll see. But for Jason, I'm Kahlil. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on Thursday night. It's ladies' night on the Box on Thursday. Peace.
This has been The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Courtney. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.